Hi folks, Dave Schmidt here. Hey, it's the afternoon of Monday, March 16th, as I'm coming to you here. And I want to say once again, just thank you for all of you that are so faithful to listen in, to share your comments, to send me emails, and also that you come to the workshops. I just want to say thank you once again to all the people that attended the workshop here in Dallas-Fort Worth over the weekend. And as you can see, I'm not in Sedona, and I'm not in an airport, and I'm not in a hotel. I'm actually at Charla's home here in Fort Worth, Texas. As we are waiting to, in the next few days, we will be traveling to Minnesota for our hosted workshop there. But I always want again just to say thank you so much. We had about 130 people at the workshop in Dallas last Saturday, and it was just another wonderful magical moment is all that we can say. The energy that is there, the anticipation, the hope, the faith, the love for each other that everybody brings to an event. And it's as I've typically said, it's not so much about the information that is shared as much as the experience that is gained. And so again, I want to say thank you to all of you that were at the workshop in actually Grapevine. It was Grapevine, Texas last Saturday. So, and a couple of administrative announcements. Yes, again, this weekend, this Saturday, March 21st, I'm going to be in Laverne, Minnesota. It's about 30 miles east of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's a hosted workshop, which means somebody else is putting us up and actually taking care of everything for us. But they have invited anybody that wants to attend. So there's still plenty of seats available. It's the normal price that you would pay. It's the same workshop that I always do. And you're all welcome to come and attend this wonderful little farming community, Laverne, Minnesota. And we still have plenty of seats available for that. Now, another question that some of you are asking, what is going on now with the projects? And I did bring great clarification to this at the workshop on Saturday. With what has happened with the establishment of the True Vision of Peace project that the ambassador is involved in, we have shifted all of the project issues to them. I had talked earlier, even some months ago, with the ambassador and also his assistant, Mr. A. We had some proposals. What I'd shared with you were proposals. But things shift and change. And what it has come down to, it is best for them to take all of that on, and then it allows me to be able to focus on what it is that I'm supposed to do. So I'm not stretching myself too much, because there was a little bit of time I was beginning to think that, man, I was just getting too much on my plate. I'm trusting what's coming at me. I will step into this because somebody needs to do this. But on the other hand, I have to somewhat admit that the shifting of the projects to others, it's kind of been a little bit of a relief for me. There's a little bit of letting go in there, but it's been a relief where I'm glad to let them do that and to support them and to say go for it because we trust them that are there. Now, the other question that some of you still had about the ambassador being with myself and Ron Van Dyke. There was a lot of attack that was being directed toward all of us, that people were saying, well, the ambassador said this, and Ron said this, and I said that, and Radagast said this, and Gwen said that, and Gwen Caldwell, with the True Vision of Peace. And there was a lot of confusion, there was a lot of attack, and then when I also say attack, there were deliberate paid people to create division, separation, delusion, disagreement, and disorientation to everything that we were wanting to do. And we all supported and felt it was best for the ambassador to speak at one source, one place, so we don't fall into that type of a disagreement. Now, he and I, and Charla and I, are still in constant contact with him. We talk with him almost every day. So we know what's going on. We're supportive of what is taking place, and there's some good news that is developing. I would encourage you to listen again to the new video that their team had just put out today about the possibility of some things that are developing and coming our way. So I want to thank you. I think that's it. And covering all the administrative announcements that I wanted to share with you. Also, I want to thank you for all of your prayers, your concerns for my health, the bronchitis situation. There's another whole separate story that went on behind that. But I won't say it's 100% gone, but I can tell you it is much better today than it has been in almost 2 to 3 weeks. You will also notice probably my voice is sounding a lot better as well, because even last week there was a little bit of a tightness that was still there in my voice because of the tightness that was taking place in my chest with the bronchitis. But all is well. And there's a process behind all this, and there's a blessing in disguise in everything that is developed from all of that. So now where are we here now? Back in December 31st, 2.5 months ago, I had shared that for Charlotte and I, this has been a journey of faith. And I started these workshops almost 1 year ago here in Dallas, Fort Worth, and we've done 18 of them over the year. Things have shifted. Things have changed. It was interesting because the folks that attended the last one a year ago and then attended the one this weekend, they noticed there was a lot of difference in the content. And it's because content has changed. Things have changed. But the constant thing through all of this has been the journey of faith and trusting what is developing and what is coming before us. Faith is just that. It is a trust. And underneath all of that, there is this goal. Regardless of what we may perceive in the dinar, RV, GCR, or the projects that would be coming our way, the overwhelming, most important goal is that place of peace. When you're in that place of peace, there is strength. When you're in that place of peace, there is certainty. When you're in that place of peace, there's an absence of anxiety, an absence of fear, and an absence of attack. Now, last week on the radio program, I mentioned I wanted to start moving into talking about peace, but also beginning to contrast it with some stuff. And I said I was going to talk about wanting to bring forward understanding something of judgment. But before I do that, I want to also share something that I had come across yesterday in some reading that I'd done in A Course in Miracles. And it talks about faith, the importance of faith, what faith is in contrast to faithlessness, and how that impacts our lives, and how we can look on it and understand what is happening within us. So I want to go ahead and read a little bit that is coming out of A Course in Miracles, so bear with me as I look down at my computer as I read some of this. But here's what it says, is peace without faith will never be attained. For what is dedicated to truth as its only goal is brought to truth by faith. It cannot be difficult to realize that faith must be the opposite of faithlessness. Yet the difference in how they operate is less apparent, though it follows directly from the fundamental difference in what they are. Faithlessness would always limit and attack. Faith would remove all limitations and make things whole. Faithlessness would destroy and separate. Faith would unite and heal. Faithlessness would interimpose illusions between the children of God and their Creator. Faith would remove all obstacles that seem to arise between them. Faithlessness is wholly dedicated to illusions, while faith is wholly dedicated to truth. Partial dedication is impossible. Truth is the absence of illusion, and illusion is the absence of truth. Both cannot be together nor perceived in the same place. Faith is the opposite of fear, and as much as a part of love as fear is of attack. Faith is the acknowledgement of union. As faithlessness will keep our little kingdoms barren and separate, so will faith help the Holy Spirit prepare the ground for the most holy garden that He would make of it. For faith brings peace, and so it calls on truth to enter and make lovely what has already been prepared for loveliness. Truth follows faith and peace, completing the process of making lovely for what they have begun. I was really caught by that, because in all of that, I was caught about the whole issue of what is called separation and division. From a biblical definition, we use this term sin. And what is sin? It really, in its root, it means to miss the mark. But more than that, sin is always symbolic of division and separate. To separate, to destroy, to limit, to say that I am different than you and I am better than you and you are wrong. At the very core of all of that is the separation. And in separation, what do you see it? You really see it reflected in how we judge one another. Jesus was very clear in Matthew chapter 7, verse 1, where he says, "Do not judge. For the measure that you judge others, so shall it return, and so shall you be judged. And to the degree that you judge, so that same degree shall return upon you." You can call that reaping what you sow. You can call that the law of attraction. But what is important for all of us through this process is that we be a people of faith, that we be a people of truth, that will help bring about the thing that we all hope for, that we want, and we wish to see happen. Yes, we want the money. We would be foolish to say that we don't. But we also realize that money is not the true issue that brings healing, that brings wholeness, and brings peace to us as a human race and to this planet. Money alone will not do that. Because, see, money, the more you receive, will only magnify and intensify what is already happening within you. That is why it is extremely important that we understand the place of peace. We understand the place of faith. We understand the place of love, and how those are in contrast to the places of fear, the places of judgment, and the places of separation. When we come together, as it says, that faith is the acknowledgement of union, as I'm looking at the page again, it means we come together and we are unified and in a sense of being one together for what we wish to do. It doesn't mean that we all have to agree, because obviously we are individuals and we all have our own individual idiosyncrasies. But what it does mean is when there is disagreement, when there is division, when you see things different, love rises above it and it lets it be. Faith rises above it and sees beyond to what it can become versus maybe some tension and disagreement that is before you at the time. Love looks beyond judgment. Faith looks beyond judgment. Peace looks beyond judgment. To judge is to stay in separation. Now, why am I bringing up this topic? Because one of the things that I am noticing, whether it's been some of the postings that take place on the True Vision of Peace site, whether it's Ron Van Dyke's videos or my own, where we have areas that are open for comment, I am always amazed at the judgment that is there. The people that enter into attack, faithlessness, negativity, judgment, separation, anxiety, all of those are simply a reflection of their own lack of love and their own fear. That is the fundamental part of that, is all of that, underneath it all. To be in those positions is to keep the situation as it is. Now, for those of you who have been to my workshops, you understand in the last section there, I talk about the power of our thoughts, the power of who we are, that we create the world that we experience. So what is it that you want to experience? One of the most important things that we can do is to be acutely aware of our thoughts and the words that we say. When we find ourselves judging another, you will feel judgment within you. It doesn't feel very good. It's kind of hard, tense. You're grumpy, you're griping, critical, negative. And how does love feel? And how does peace feel? If you want to know what you're thinking, if you want to know what it is that you're putting out and the energy that you're putting out, You don't have to necessarily focus on every thought. What you do is get to focus on how you feel. Because see, your feelings, your emotions, now yes, I use those interchangeably. I could go into some definitions how, yes, there is some difference between the two, but I use this as a simplicity. Your feelings and your emotions, predominantly your emotions, they are the energy of your thoughts. Emotion. Energy in motion. The energy of what you're thinking. Your thoughts produce an electromagnetic response that goes out into the world around you. And it's electromagnetic. And that is when Jesus is saying, judge not, lest you will be judged. Because if you're in your thoughts, you are producing an energy of judging. That is what you send out. It's electromagnetic. Other similar energetic thoughts that is coming from others around you will attach to that and then will come back to you. It really is a form of, gee, do you really want to be a masochist? I don't, excuse me, I don't like being a masochist. I really don't. It doesn't feel very good, folks. But yet we become self-masochist. We basically are hurting ourselves. We keep ourselves in positions of lack and depravity and hopelessness at times, or faithlessness, because of the attitudes that we have toward others. Because see, when you're judging another and you're saying, well, that's a stupid thought, or that is never going to happen, or you people that are around this ambassador and all this true vision of peace, you're totally believing lies and all this, and the different things that you say, that's what you're putting out. And so you will attract that back to yourself. That is a law of this universe that you can never get away from. But really what's happening, as we are all guilty of this at times, as we judge another, what we are really doing is projecting the denial of what's happening inside of us. You see, if you're in a position of faithlessness, that produces a lot of what is called subconscious guilt. And we don't like it subconsciously. So therefore what we do, we subconsciously try to get rid of it by projecting it onto someone else, by saying that person is faithless. Attacking them, having anxiety, being negative, being judgmental. All of these are the things that are stopping and hindering the very thing that we want. You're a part of this. Watching these videos, listening to my radio programs, being involved with my newsletters, because we all have been people, I should say almost all of us, have purchased either their dinar or dong, and underneath it we're hoping for a financial return. Do I believe in that? Oh, absolutely I do. I wish I could share with you the things that I have come to know and understand in some of these people that I've been working with, but out of confidentiality and out of practical security issues, it is best that I don't. But what I can do is to share with you to stay in the position of faith. Stay in that position of love. Stay in that position of peace. And let go of the illusions. Let go of this hopium train, or this or on the contrast, the negativity of being in judgment. We are the ones, and it's interesting, again, as I share this in the workshops, that are starting to understand how our thoughts that we put out is what creates the world that we experience. And we can create the world we experience by staying in the positions of faith and peace and love, and keeping those foremost before us. We allow ourselves to, what is the word I'm looking for? To bring about in a quicker way, in a quicker manner, the very thing that we hope for. You see, I've been saying all along that we are waiting for the cabal to be neutered. It doesn't take hundreds of thousands of people to shift and change them. A few thousand people that carry the right energy, motivated together at the right time, are the ones that can shift and change literally millions of others. It is possible. Research has shown that. It is all there, practical to be done. It is important for us to develop the self-discipline within each of us to keep ourselves in those positions. Let go of any sense of hopelessness. Let go of feeling of guilt that I can't do this. Let go of the thoughts that I don't think this is going to happen. I could come back to you and tell you illustrations through history over and over and over again. Major shifts and changes were always brought about by a very small number of very focused, dedicated, believing, faithful people. And I've shared with you the illustration of the metaphor of the Israelites as Moses had freed them from the bondage and slavery of the Egyptians. When they crossed over the river basically had crossed over the river from leaving Egypt, their goal was not this gold. Their goal was not the cattle and the gold that they had received from the Egyptians. Their goal was moving into the promised land. And it was only about a 2-week journey. But it took them 40 years as a collective to get there. Why? Because I've said this many times before. They had lived for centuries as slaves, and they had a slavery mentality. And when they received their wealth, they didn't get rid of their slavery mentality overnight. There were millions upon millions that left Egypt, and there were far fewer numbers that entered the promised land. Because, see, they could not take a slavery mentality into a promised land environment and be in abundance. You can't take anxiety, judgment, criticism, negativity, and attack into a land of peace, love, and faith, and receive these funds and think that it will produce those things in your life. If you're living in judgment and negativity and funds get released to you, it will only amplify those. The goal for us is not about getting money. Yes, that will help a lot of what we would perceive and what we would like to bring about. But the real goal is to be instruments of bringing change to this world. Being world changers. Now, that's a big, lofty term. But it is something that is very possible because it is something that is happening right now all around us. If you know how to look, if you know how to perceive, and if you know how to put it into context. I have a great deal of faith that this is happening. I have never in my life been in a position that I have believed something so deeply where I can just feel it being a part of me and a sense of knowing this is going to come about. Can I tell you when? No. Because, see, faith doesn't live in the position of time and space, of days, months, or years. It lives in the position of now, being focused on where you are just right now. And as you stay there, that is the energy that brings what you wish to you in the now moment. We get to be people of faith, be on a journey of faith. We're all on a journey of faith in this together. And I want to thank all of you, whether you are people that just read the newsletters and watch these videos and listen to the radio program. And I don't want to say just. I want to say if you are the ones who are very faithful in doing that, I want to say thank you. Share this with others. Bring others with you along on this journey, because things are about to shift and change. You can hear that in the tone of the voice in the ambassador. And if you knew some of the things that I knew that were going on behind the scenes, things are about to shift and change. Yes, we may go through a period of time where things might be worse before they get better. But that's normal. It's the old saying, it's always darkest just before the dawn. There's a new dawn coming our way. And we are the people who are on a journey of faith working at making that happen to bring it about. Thank you always for all the times that you have joined me in this journey. Love all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.